This happened to me 3 years ago when I was living alone for a few months. My roommates had moved out and I was hoping to have some me time before looking for new roommates, hopefully people who went to the same university as me. It was a simple house with the kitchen and lounge connected and a long hallway that led to 3 bedrooms with their own bathrooms. The backyard also connected to the woods, just a lousy fence creating a boundary. I was at home that day, checking my emails and mostly wasting time on Netflix. I had put my phone on silent since some weirdo woman kept calling me, offering to be my roommate. Every time I asked the woman how she got my number or even knew I needed roommates, she only ever said that she was in the same social circle as me. It was a stormy day and I was systematically checking all the windows when I paused at the kitchen window overlooking the woods behind the house. "What the?" I mumbled and squinted at the boar peeking out from some bushes. In all my years living there, I had never seen a wild boar in these woods, yet here was one. It had small tusks and was mostly in the shadows. The way it was so still and quiet made the scene eerie. There were no vegetables or anything in the backyard, so what was it staring at? I quickly locked the back door when I realized that the boar head was a little too high, debating with myself that I was spooking myself. I had never seen a real wild boar ever, so how would I know how big they were? Yet, there was something uncanny about it that I couldn't dismiss. Abrupt shuffling from the bushes made me flinch and look outside the window again. The boar was gone, the woods silent now. The storm picked up by night, loud thunder and flashes in abundance. Rain was angrily drumming upon the house and creating a big racket, so I decided to grab my headphones and watch something cozy on Netflix. Midway through an episode of Gilmore Girls, a crash loud enough to seep into my headphones came from the kitchen. I put the laptop away and quickly rummaged under my bed where I kept a sturdy baseball bat. Just as I heard rushing footsteps coming towards my bedroom, I jumped in my closet. From the slits, I saw a lanky woman wearing that same boar mask I had spied in the woods earlier, a big butcher knife in her hand. As soon as she had her back towards the closet, I charged out and hit her hard, knocking her out. As I waited for the cops, I unmasked the woman. She really was from the university I attended, some woman from the admin I barely recognized. I soon sold that house and moved in an apartment complex with 24/7 security, a CCTV installed outside my main door. This happened to me when I was 16 and my parents were out of town for the night. As any teen given such an opportunity, I decided to have a little party and movie night with a few friends. I remember a strange soft clicking over the landline when I was calling my friends, but I soon forgot about it while hunting for snacks. Just as I was dumping a bag of chips in a bowl, the phone rang again. "Dude, just bring the goriest one," I said as soon as I picked up the phone, thinking it was my indecisive friend bringing the DVD. "Hi, I'm calling from Felix Insurance. May I speak to an adult?" A male voice said. I'm an adult and I don't want any." I awkwardly lied and ended the call. This time, the clicking sound was also missing. Either way, my friends arrived and it was all good. During the intermission of the horror movie, I went to get more popcorn but found the big window in the downstairs bedroom was wide open. Clicking my tongue, I closed it, nearly sneezing from this sharp chemical smell from outside. Closing the window didn't really help, so I left the door open and went on my way. By midnight, my friends left and I got to cleaning up since my parents were to arrive early in the morning. At least it was the weekend so I could sleep in. I looked around when that same chemical smell irritated my nose. I leaned closer to the kitchen window that was open a crack, but the night air was cool and fresh. Was the smell coming from inside the house? I worriedly headed for the spare bedroom, hoping it wasn't some dumb prank my friends did during one of their bathroom breaks. There was no smell in that bedroom anymore. I stood confused when the sound of boots passing right outside the room made me whirl around. I dashed outside to check, but of course there was no one. The horror movie was probably messing with my mind already. Back in the kitchen, I was drying up the big plastic bowl when I felt that I wasn't alone. Nervously, I looked up at the window and caught the reflection of a big strong figure quietly approaching me from behind. The chemical smell was very sharp now, and it dawned on me that it was emitting from the intruder. I'm not sure where I got the courage, but I slammed the bowl right in the intruder's face and dashed for it. He tried to grab me, but I dodged, hitting my shin in the dining table as I ran out the house. The neighbors called the cops for me, but the perpetrator was gone. It was also revealed that our phone line was being tapped. A chemical factory worker who was wanted for robbing homes in the area was later caught, but to this day I still triple-check all locks and windows of my home. I work at a call center and get off very late in the night. On my drive home, all I wanted to do was to get to my bed and sleep well into the afternoon. It was around 2 in the morning when I got home. Within seconds of laying down, I was sound asleep in my bedroom. I jolted awake from one of those dreams with the loud bang sound. My mind telling me that it had been no dream. I looked at the window, but it was still dark out, perhaps near dawn. However, before I could go back to sleep again, I noticed light peeking from under my bedroom door. I never slept with lights on in the house. I slowly sat up, but nervousness kept me from getting off the bed. I did have the sense to grab my phone off the side table, being as quiet as possible. While I was internally debating my sudden paranoia, my very breath halted, hearing soft thumps somewhere in the house. Footsteps. There was someone in my home. My heartbeat was almost on par with these footsteps as I dialed the police. I had the sense to lower the sound so the operator's voice wouldn't echo in the quiet house. Tick, tick, tick. This weird sound came from outside, the intruder coming upstairs. This ticking came in breaks, 6 ticks, then 6 softer ones, only to repeat again. With my dry as sand mouth, I managed to whisper to the operator. She was asking me for further details when I clearly heard this ticking and footsteps approaching my bedroom door. I dashed towards it and slammed against it just as the intruder also tried to rush in, now aware that I was awake. Hearing a man's grunt, I put all my weight against the door that seemed too flimsy just then. There's an intruder in my home. Hurry! I yelled at the operator and then rattled off my address twice. The man managed to push open the door a sliver and jammed in one gloved hand. He was holding a box cutter, pushing the blade out with those ticks. I screamed at the operator that he was armed as I tried to hurt his arm with the door. The man blindly slashed at me as I stayed as far from his reach as possible, banging against the door. Leave it! Another female voice came from downstairs, an angry hiss. I was barely surviving against one, but now there were 2. With an annoyed grunt, the man trying to stab me backed off and I heard the duo's hasty escape. I slumped down by my closed door, too afraid to open it. My neighbor's CCTV caught the 2 intruders, but they were wearing dark clothes with full masks, so the cops had nothing to go on. In the end, the duo stole some valuables from me, but at least left me alive, albeit with lifelong paranoia. I now sleep with a sharp knife under my pillow in case they ever change their mind and come back.